There are many stories in the world that try to impress us with noise, drama, and sudden miracles. But the stories that stay with us the longest are often the quiet ones. The ones that feel simple at first, yet slowly change the way we see our own lives. This is one of those stories. It is not about becoming rich overnight. It is not about escaping hardship instantly. It is a story about the quiet power of positive thinking and how a gentle shift in the way we think can slowly, patiently change the direction of a life. Long ago, in a small countryside village surrounded by open fields and tall palm trees, there lived an elderly woman named Anaya. Anaya lived alone in a modest clay house at the edge of the village, near an old banyan tree, whose branches spread wide like open arms. Her hair was silver, her back slightly bent with age, and her face was lined with soft wrinkles shaped by time and weather. But what people remembered most about Anaya were her eyes. They were calm, warm, and always filled with a quiet light. No matter what happened around her, Anaya seemed peaceful. She smiled easily. She listened carefully, and she never spoke harshly, even when life around her was difficult. The villagers often wondered how she could remain so gentle and hopeful when her life had not been easy. Anaya had lost her husband many years earlier. They had no children. She lived simply, growing vegetables behind her home, sharing food when she could, and spending long afternoons sitting beneath the banyan tree, watching people pass by. Life in the village was hard. Most villagers worked from sunrise to sunset. Some were farmers who depended on the rain. Some repaired tools, wove baskets, or sold small goods at the market. When the rain failed to come, the crops suffered. When illness struck, families struggled. Worry was a common companion in many homes. Yet whenever people passed Anaya's house, they noticed something strange. She was always smiling, not a loud smile, not a careless one, but a steady, gentle smile that made others pause, even if only for a moment. One afternoon, as the sun leaned low and the air grew heavy with heat, a young woman named Mira approached the banyan tree. Mira was in her early 30s. Her face was thin from stress, her eyes red from crying. Her clothes were worn, and her steps were slow, as if each one required effort. Anaya noticed her immediately. "Come," Anaya said softly, patting the ground beside her. "Sit with me." Mira hesitated, then lowered herself onto the cool earth. For a while, neither of them spoke. The sound of distant birds and rustling leaves filled the silence. Finally, Mira's voice broke. "I don't know what to do anymore," she said, her words trembling. "My husband left for the city months ago to find work. He promised he would send money, but nothing has come. My children are hungry, I'm tired, and I'm afraid." Anaya turned toward her, her eyes calm and attentive. "What do you think will happen?" Anaya asked gently. Mira wiped her face. "I think everything will fall apart. I think my husband may never come back. I think my children will suffer. I think only bad things are waiting for us." Anaya nodded slowly, not in agreement, but in understanding. "My child," she said, "when our thoughts are heavy, our hearts become heavy too. And when our hearts are heavy, everything feels harder than it already is." Mira sighed. "But how can I think good thoughts when my life feels so bad?" Anaya smiled softly. "Let me tell you a story." Mira looked up, curious despite herself. "Once," Anaya began, "there was a man who believed he had nothing left." She spoke slowly, her voice steady. He had lost his family. He had no money, no home. One day he sat beside a river crying, convinced that his life was over. Mira listened closely. An old traveler passed by and asked him why he was crying. The man said, "I have nothing. I have lost everything that matters." Anaya paused, letting the words settle. The traveler smiled and said, "Look around you. You have water to drink. You have the sun to warm you. You have trees to shade you. Life still surrounds you. Mira frowned slightly, thinking. The traveler said, "If you focus only on what you lack, your suffering will grow. But if you focus on what you still have, even when it is small, your heart will find strength." Anaya continued. The man did not become rich that day. His problems did not disappear. But he stopped crying. He stood up, and little by little, his life began to move forward again. Anaya turned back to Mira. His life changed, she said. Not because the world changed, but because his thinking changed. Mira sat quietly. "Do you really believe thinking differently can change anything?" she asked. Anaya nodded. Positive thinking does not mean pretending life is perfect. It means choosing hope over fear. It means believing you can face tomorrow, even if today is hard. Mira took a deep breath. "What should I do?" she asked. Anaya smiled. "Tomorrow morning when you wake up, say one simple thing to yourself. Say, 'Today I will do my best. Today I choose hope.'" Mira nodded slowly. "That is the first step," Anaya said. Mira left the banyan tree that afternoon with no money in her hands, but with something lighter in her chest. The next morning, Mira woke before sunrise. Her children were still asleep. For a moment, worry returned. But she remembered Anaya's words. She whispered, "Today, I will do my best." She prepared food with what little she had. She worked in the fields. She spoke kindly to her children even when she was tired. Each day, she repeated the same words. Some days were harder than others. Some days, doubt returned. But slowly, something changed. Mira felt stronger. She felt more patient. She began to notice small good things she had ignored before. A neighbor offering help, a child's laughter, a quiet evening without fear. Weeks passed. One afternoon, a letter arrived. It was from her husband. He had found steady work in the city. He apologized for the delay. Money would be sent soon. Mira cried, but this time her tears were filled with relief. She ran to the banyan tree to find Anaya. "I believed," Mira said breathlessly. "I kept going and something changed." Anaya smiled, her eyes shining. "Positive thinking does not invite miracles," she said. "It invites strength. And strength helps us meet life when opportunity arrives." Word of Anaya's wisdom spread. Soon others came. A man worried about debt, a mother grieving loss, a young boy afraid of failure. Anaya gave them all the same gentle message. Your thoughts shape the way you walk through life. Choose thoughts that help you stand, not sink. Over time, the village began to change. People still faced hardship, but they faced it with calmer hearts. They worked together, they complained less, they hoped more. And Anaya continued to sit beneath the banyan tree, smiling quietly, never claiming credit. Years later, when Anaya passed away peacefully in her sleep, the village planted a small stone beneath the tree. It read, "She taught us that hope begins in the mind." This story is not just about Anaya. It is about all of us. Every day, we choose our thoughts, and those thoughts quietly shape our lives. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who may need this reminder, and subscribe for more gentle stories that inspire hope and strength. Thank you for listening. May your thoughts be kind, your heart be steady, and your days be guided by quiet optimism.